was. Started here in America in about 1979. It was a lighting company at first, and it kind of morphed into a staging company, but it grew exponentially.
Tait Towers has always represented the best in the business.
What we're building either enables the show to happen or not. We thrive on complications. 25 years ago, musicians were making money selling records. Now they're making money selling seats. And that's why we're making stage sets.
Like any organization, we have our moments, we have our drama.
It's full on because there's a deadline that we're up against all the time. There's no showing up a day late. In this business, you're only as good as your last show.
One of the coolest things about being on tour, I don't think the fans really get to see, is how hard the crew works. Nobody gets it, but they're here in the AM, like early.
I'm the event coordinator for the Bridgestone Arena on tonight's show, which is Clarkson in front. You always kind of want to be here before everybody gets here, make sure things are ready to go. Leslie got here about 6:30 today, and I was here probably about 6. Just kind of going through the motions and getting the things that she needs when load-in starts. The soul maps audits and getting all the lights and stuff on.
I think what's really interesting is that what these guys do in a day as a tour is that, you know, whether it's 8 trucks like today or 15 trucks, is that they come into a blank campus, like just a blank arena. And, you know, within 4 to 5 hours, everything's up out of these trucks and put together, and it creates this amazing show.
Alan has been in our building 15, 20 times, and so we feel comfortable talking things through with him. I can go to him directly and kind of sort out what his thoughts on certain things are.
We walked in at 7:30. We marked the points based on where the motors are going to hang till they show up.
That's good, thank you.
He's a guy who's got a ton of experience. He's been around a lot longer than I have. You know, I deferred to him on a lot of stuff. You know, when he would be concerned about the height of something, or the weight of something, or the width of something, or how it was going to build. Alan's opinion was one I listened to. I mean, it's, you know, you have to. The guy's been around longer than I've been born.
In every city, we hire local stagehands. It's what we call the crew call. For here, I have 30 stagehands in the load-in, I have 34 for the load-out, I have 8 riggers up to 2 on the ground, I have 4 loaders in, 8 loaders out, 2 forklifts, electrician, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning, miraculously 30 stagehands appear. And Harold, my stage manager, orchestrated that. Unloading the trucks, bringing it in, and it goes in a set format.
I walk around, just kind of assess what I'm going to do and how I'm going to plan today, just how I'm going to approach getting something to the show. So if I may decide, instead of doing this truck or that truck, I'll reverse it. I have to do this stuff through before I walk those other stuff.
You think it's easy? This isn't an easy one.
Yeah, I know. I meet you all the time.
He makes me juggle trucks around. You ever juggle a 72-foot truck? Harold makes me do it.
You do it just because you can.
Let's go find some Tait dollies. This is probably what Alan was talking about when he said, you can see the difference between Tait stuff and somebody else's stuff, because this would be a Tait dolly and that would be not a Tait dolly. First person that touches this is going to be a stagehand in a city that's never seen it before. And so what we like to do is immediately empower the stagehand by giving him enough information so he knows what it is that he's touching. So this drawing on here will show, these are the decks for all the band risers, that's how they go in there. They'll say what the length, the weight, all that stuff is. And so immediately a stagehand in a city that's never touched it knows what he's talking about and can usually actually speak the vernacular of the show.
The way the Tait stuff's put together, the way it's packaged, I mean, it's pretty much foolproof.
He would know that these are the band riser decks. He would know where they go when they're labeled, so you can say this goes on stage right, this goes on stage left. And rather than somebody just screaming across the room, hey, where does this go? They actually can say, I have the band riser decks, where would you like them to go? And it's kind of a cool thing. All around the world now, we've become fairly noticed for that labeling system.
Stuff's coming in as well. Trying to put all the trucks together, waiting on rigging to get done. We're on the motors. Continue on. Basically, we're making a really big mess. Fork left. Going up and down stage.
We started the Clarkson tour, I think it was a year ago in Las Vegas. We started talking about the show, and Roy Bennett was contacted to be the designer again. He designed the last show, and we started batting around ideas.
The whole idea of the concept for this most recent tour was to kind of give something that was modern, strong but feminine at the same time. I mean, a lot of the thought process of any of the designs that I do for artists to try to give it multiple personalities, so that you don't have a set that is just that one thing and that's what it looks like from the rest of the show. You know, it could be awesome for about 10 minutes and then you know, I just go, okay, I'm over it.
Well, what Roy's vision is obviously getting the band in the right place and having the risers look like something. So there's some integral lighting underneath the risers. There's some beautiful fascia on the front of the risers. It's getting the band in the right layout so that they can perform well with her. And then there's a great video element. There's a front projection screen, and then we have 4 columns of fabric that are lit from the top and lit from the bottom, and they can go up and go down, and there's quite a dramatic lighting effect for it. There were a couple ideas that we left on the table because we had to compromise for truck space and budget. I mean, it's turned out exactly the way that we envisioned it from the beginning.
I'm not an engineer. I mean, I have a good concept of how things could work mechanically, but basically once I've got the design, sold it, then I hand it off to Tait, and I'm kind of in their hands at that point to figure things out. And you know, there's little adjustments here and there, but you know, that's what they're genius at, of coming up with very innovative ways of doing things. They'll figure anything out. The bad side is financially sometimes it's really expensive, but that's, you know, I get paid for great things. It's Marley. It's a thicker, kind of rubbery thing. Some performers use that, some people use carpet. It makes it for a smoother surface. You never know what kind of deck you're going to get. This deck's is fine, but we've been in amphitheaters where it's wood and splintery, so it's just a consistent thing, as well as if you look on there, all that tape there isn't a bunch of garbage. It's spike marks for all the risers, for lighting, for audio stuff, so we know where it goes every day. A stage set is an artist's home for the months or weeks or whatever they're traveling with the show. So they have to be comfortable, and with Kelly in particular, because she's usually shoeless.
I hate feeling uncomfortable. Like that whole thing where they're like, beauty hurts or whatever, beauty's pain, and that's crap. I'm not that girl. And I'm not gonna be walking around in heels like Beyonce up the stairs. That's stupid for me. Anyway, so they build the stage and cater around, you know, the things I love, and I perform barefoot a lot, so we, you know, have to make sure, like, you know, a lot of stuff, I'm not gonna break my ankle or something like that, like walking around being stupid, so.
Marley floor is the best surface for an artist is basically barefoot. I mean, and most artists prefer that a Marley floor. It's comfortable, it wears well, you know, you're not going to slip and slide all over it. It's just easy to travel around.
And what Leroy was pitching was brilliant, but for what their budget was and the time that we had to do it, it wasn't feasible. So through some iterations, Leroy came to the conclusion of the pod idea.
These are custom set pieces made out of wood and metal inside. Each one of these is an LED light. There's 64 of them total, 16 per pod. They can fan out and light the audience. There's fabric columns inside here that'll lower down and raise up that also get lit.
The idea was to give it kind of a shapely, feminine feel to it, but it is the idea of the strength of a column to kind of coincide with the stronger concept of the album.
We were able to give them a bunch of different looks using these fabric columns that raise and lower during the show. And there's two different styles. There's a huge oval pod that has moving lights in the middle of them, and you can have the pods without the columns. You can have one set of columns, both set of columns, the other set of columns, and what it does is it gives the show a lot of different options to have really cool looks that are supplemented by lights and projection.
You'll see how there's several mood changes. The columns really change throughout the show. There's an evolution of how the show builds, and there's a very big video impact. So the design has been perfectly achieved, I think, for this environment that she's in right now.
All right, guys in the back, I got some side rails coming up and all those clear brother boxes, please. We're about 10 minutes slow. That's fine. We're gonna catch up here in a minute. As soon as this thing gets up out of the way, you're gonna see a bum rush of stuff coming at me. It's hard to come at me right now, so.
How wiki about Alan fucking Hornall. I've known the guy for 30 years.
Well, it was my first experience working with him.
What was it like working with Alan Hornall?
I don't know. He yelled at me a couple times.
You did?
Yeah, because I think when we first drew the stage, we were bigger than a 60-foot footprint. And it wasn't until like a couple weeks before we were about to deliver he noticed it. And it was just great for not realizing
never
the
looked
show.
at a drawing.
And my answer was, well, why did you ever look at a drawing? Of course, you can't just say that. You're like, oh, you're right, it is my fault. I will.
I'm an idiot. I will never send you a drawing again.
But I learned from it.
I'll send you a big number. 62 feet
Yeah.
wide,
64
64 feet.
feet. He's like, I can't fit anything over 60. What the fuck is wrong with you? How did you get this far? I said, I don't know. How did you get this far? But we get on pretty well. Especially during everything we've been through with that show, the changes, the modifications we're having made on site, and that kind of stuff. He's
What modifications? Oh, getting those fucking columns to work.
right, getting him to stay level, getting him to synchronize every night.
Which, by the way, they're still fixing.
We're good now. We sent parts the other day.
I think I find the job challenging. Enjoyable, yes. Enjoyable to the fact that you can take a show and you can put it in and out of buildings, and it's enjoyable to see the whole show in its entirety. I get disappointed when I'm going into a building that I know can't take the show, so then we have to cut the show down.
Everybody's got a stage, but the stage is a different size, it's a different height, it's a different, whether they're bringing their own, that kind of thing. So everybody has something that's different about it, but at the same time, everybody's kind of got the same idea of a show. Everybody's got sound, everybody's got lights. So it's just kind of the different unique components that each one comes with it.
This set's going up right now as well. Set also has some trusses that don't have any lights on them, but there's drapes that move and some other things as well. And there's lights that do hang off of some of the set trusses, and that's the set truss going up now, so they'll start setting those as well. We gotta work together type of thing, because if I built this whole truss through, he couldn't get that up, I wouldn't get it his way by the time he was ready to set, which is screw the stage, which we've done. But we've done shows since January this way, so we know how not to screw each other.
Working for somebody like Kelly's, you hear it all the time, but it is actually true in this case. She's one of the most enjoyable people to work for, and she's also one of the kindest people I've ever worked for. So when you don't deliver the show for her, then I feel I'm letting her down. So does the crew. I mean, that's what this is about. It's all about her, because our focus is to give her her show. This is what she wants. This is what she's paying for, and she's paying us to give her this. So that's the, I wouldn't say challenging, but disappointing side of it. When you look at a building and you know you can't get the show in, that side I don't like so much.
This is a great show. This is a lot bigger than I'll ever wanted. Yeah, this one's bigger, but and it's great. Like, I think that's me too. And as an artist, like, I'm very simple. I love going to shows where there's like fireworks and flying in the air. It's fun, but I don't want to fly and I don't want loud things going off around me. So we really have to cater to that. But I love video and I love, you know, the concept of, you know, translating the music like that, and I love lights and lasers, stuff like that. So they try and work in, you know, everything I really like, and, you know, something I'm proud of that they're proud of.
There's never a drama with Alan, and he's established a really good team of people. And you can see that by walking around here. I mean, everybody's in a pretty decent mood. They're probably all tired and cranky and they want to go home. It's, you know, anytime you're at the last line of the show, it's like, please let this be over so we can go home. So we can go home and go fly to Australia in 5 more days.
Well, she's trying on some stuff, but Jason wants to run through one song with Aben, and then when he's done that, we'll bring the band up, we'll bring Kelly up, then we'll sound check, and we'll come on stage and get ready for the Friendly.
She's been able to keep the integrity of her entire show that we created a year ago for this show. So we've changed her risers in the sense that she's able to roll them on and roll them off at set change. And we had to alter a few of her gags in the show, the columns, but for the most part, she's been able to keep the entire integrity of her show without any compromise. And what you'll see tonight is quite a big bang for your buck.
Nice controls, all lighting, video elements. Playback is run through this side of the desk. This is your editor, so live during the show, if changes are needed to be made, I make them over here. Each one of our songs is laid out, and I'll trigger via this. So it's all lighting, it's all...
You triggered video?
Yep. We sat for 2 weeks and programmed the show. The idea is once the show starts touring, you want to try and do as little as possible. With the continuity of the show, everybody signs off on what they like, and it's a matter of mimicking it the exact same every night.
The show gets put together with Roy Bennett, who's the designer and the set designer. So Roy would have done both.
Yeah, so Kelly
comes in to execute Roy's vision on a daily basis. We all sit around at the beginning going, how do you get the show to look nice? And I would say on this show, everybody's a lighting director.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Until it comes,
but that's once everybody leaves, then it's his baby.
That's my baby to keep the integrity of it, tweak. If Kelly wants to make small, minor changes, she'll come to me.
I remember when I first started touring, it was just like we were plugging our own gear in, and you know, it's like I was singing from my lap out there just to get people to come back, and there was nothing going on. You know, so no lights. It was like we had like can lights. Like every once in a while they'd go blue, and sometimes they'd go red. Like, yeah. So in the beginning, it was really, you know, rough. I had to really work for it. Now I don't feel like I'm carrying the whole show on my shoulders. You know, vocally, I'm actually, you know, relying on my management and my stage crew and everybody putting together the show and music and everything. So people don't get that. That's really nice and comforting to have on stage, so you don't feel like you're doing everything on your own. Well, thank you so much for bringing us here for a show in Nashville. Got a lot of friends and family in the audience, and a lot of people that we look up to as well, or I do too, that's cool. And anyway, just play through our fingers, sing through our voices, let's have a good time tonight on stage, and yeah, just let's have a good time on our show. Amen. Yeah! Alright! Sorry! Don't forget the grapes. 10 meters. Oh, yeah, yeah! show that everybody's gonna remember. They really helped me make a stage that was beautiful and memorable and made a statement.
Alright, fellas, that's when he's done. We're seeing you front of house. See you out front of house. Alright? Just stay down there around to get there. I'm waiting. I can tell you that. I'm ready to get I'll work you out in the center, guys.
So they've already got all the van gears gone, all the risers are packed up. It's pretty amazing in 20 minutes.
Alright, here, guys.
Let's get out of here. We'll see you later. Roy did a fucking amazing job on making a big show, a small show look big. And the risers were, Roy's really good at doing like a chick show. I mean, that was a show that I thought looked like it was designed for a woman. Don't you think that?
Sure, it was pretty.
It was pretty, yeah. It was a pretty elegant show.
It was relevant.
Relevant the elegant.